Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Again, I am Tammy. I'm a 6th grade math teacher at Caldwell Middle School in Caldwell County, and I'm also the Region 7 representative for professional educators of North Carolina. When talking about Common Core, it's best to start at the beginning. Training for the Common Core has, for the most part, come from the district level or individual teacher research. While teachers are grateful for the training that they have received, the training in itself has been mediocre at best. Why do teachers feel this way? Well, if we feel this way, it feels like we are trying to navigate a jet plane in unfamiliar territory among cloudy skies. The training has been broad and vague and didn't focus on specific instructional techniques. While we try to put on a brave face and move forward, our stress level is at an all-time high. And we feel very inadequate. Teachers feel inadequate for 3 main reasons. First, Standard 6, which is North Carolina's way of evaluating teachers based on student growth. Second, a lack of funding and resources to ensure solid implementation. And third, the gap between North Carolina's previous standard course of study and the Common Core and assessments. First, the biggest obstacle in implementing Common Core is the lack of appropriate resources. There is a huge push for schools to become one-to-one schools by having enough computers or tablets for each student to have a device in their hands at all times. However, there is a big flaw with this concept. While students may have access at school, there is no guarantee that they have one at home. Parents often feel helpless and inadequate with this shift as well. To add to that, we do not have textbooks that are aligned to Common Core to send home with students. Textbooks are still a necessity in the classroom for parents, teachers, and students, and the fact that we currently do not have any that are aligned to Common Core standards is deeply troublesome. Without aligned textbooks, teachers are using their own money to purchase resources and other books to teach the students. I know I don't have to remind you that my salary has remained the same since 2008. So although I have been teaching for 13 years, I am making as much as an 8th-year teacher. With stagnant pay and an increase in the cost of living and health care, I can't afford to take money out of my own pocket to buy resources for my students. But I do, because I want to be successful and I want my students to be successful. The other day I saw a quote that said, "Teaching is the only profession where you steal supplies from home to bring to work." Think about that. Teachers are also spending so much time each day to hunt and pull together resources to construct lesson plans to teach Common Core that it is eating into their daily home time with family. My typical day starts at 7:30 in the morning and ends at 7:30 in the evening when I leave school. And many of the my weekends are dedicated to work as well. In short, the lack of funding and resources provided for implementation is forcing the burden onto teachers at a time when our cups are already filled to the brim. Second, as a result of the creation of Standard 6 of the evaluation instrument, teachers will now be held accountable for a new curriculum that they have only had mediocre training on and few reliable resources for implementation. As a result, a teacher may be labeled as an ineffective teacher simply because their test scores do not reflect enough growth. It is not that the teachers don't feel that they should be held accountable, but basing my worth on a test when I'm grappling with new standards, a new curriculum, new assessments, mediocre training, and few resources is not good practice and will not help us in North Carolina to recruit and retain high-quality teachers. Most teachers have an internal drive that pushes them to work harder and to find the special way to pull students up to grade level and push beyond. Teachers want students to maximize their potential, and every teacher wants to be that teacher that does that and makes the difference in each student's life. But a teacher needs the freedom, flexibility, and trust to make adjustments in his or her classroom in order to reach every student effectively. Neither a label nor a set salary will drive teachers to work harder, dig deeper, set higher expectations, or strive for better results. Those that believe that paying teachers based upon performance will somehow drive teachers to work harder or do better fully misunderstand who we are as professionals and as individuals. Testing has gotten out of control and has begun to dictate what we teach, when we teach, how we teach, down to the minute. Tests are being touted as non-high-stakes testing under a new curriculum will now determine my value and destiny as a teacher. Please work to restore teaching as an art rather than a prescribed set of steps. Third, the most obvious issue teachers are struggling with is the gap between North Carolina's previous standard course of study and Common Core. The gap is immense at all grade levels. No teacher has been left feeling otherwise. On top of teaching not just your own grade level standards, teachers are having to go back and fill the holes from previous years. The gaps between the two curriculums are felt mostly in my subject area, mathematics. While Common Core is supposed to be narrower, thus letting the teachers dig deeper, I have not found this to be true. In math, for instance, teachers are teaching something new every single day. If we slow down to investigate or apply the math, we fall behind. And investigation and application is what we should be doing. Between the rapid pace with no room for digging deeper or remediating on difficult concepts and the constant assessments, there is little time for students to process and reflect on their learning to gain true understanding. Elementary teachers are feeling the assessment requirements more than other teachers. They commented that they spend more time assessing now than they do teaching. Teachers perform formative assessments each and every day, and the constant assessments are just too much. In math, we teach multiple ways to reach the same answer and encourage thinking to find even more ways. Yet the assessments do not allow for that. With the assessments, students are expected to understand all the different methods and apply them all, not just those that work best for their individual learning styles. The point of education is to create thinkers, and that there are multiple ways to get to the same destination, but the assessments do not support that idea. Also, there is a really big concern over losing Extend 2 testing and Common Core not allowing for students with learning disabilities. Students and teachers are so overwhelmed that there is true test anxiety, creating health issues for students and teachers alike. I have a student that at the mere mention of a test or a quiz that's coming up, he will shut down completely. While I understand that our assessments are not the Common Core, at least not yet, the perception is that Common Core is driving what we assess and how we assess it, and currently our tests are not aligned to what we really need to be striving for, which is creating problem solvers and critical thinkers. In closing, most teachers are not opposed to Common Core, and we are more than willing to give it all that we have, but we need your support. We need access to reliable technology, textbooks, we need time, we need space, we need trust. We need feedback. What's critically important is that we have great principals in every school. If you give us time, resources, and supportive principals who provide consistent feedback, we will show you gains in student achievement. Gaps between grade levels will not diminish overnight, but they will come. We want to work miracles with our students, and that will be best accomplished with your support in these 3 areas: removing Standard 6, providing sufficient and consistent resources, and overhauling the assessment method that measures student learning under Common Core. Thank you.